Hello, let me introduce myself. My name is Yves Chauvel and I'm both the chief colorist and the DIT. In the case of the F55, it's possible to record in 4K on the external R5 recorder, but at the same time, it's also possible to record internally in 4K in XAVC codec. The amazing 14 stops of dynamic range of these two cameras make them an excellent choice for all sorts of recordings. It could be commercials, it could be cinema, it could be broadcast use, it could be documentary as well. These two cameras have low noise capabilities, so it's really important in post-production because noise becomes easily noticeable. But in the case of these two cameras, you can easily pull up the signal without any noise noticeable. And now we'll speak about the new firmware update version 2.0, previously named 1.3, so pay attention to that. It is now possible to record in high frame rate. In the case of 2K, you have the possibility to record at 120, 180 frames per second and go up to 240 frames per second. You can record XAVC HD at 120 frames per second and record as well on the R5 recorder at 120 frames per second at the same time. The histogram and waveform are supported on the F5 and the F55 as well. This new 2.0 firmware update makes possible to add B4 mount on these cameras. This is a feature requested by many users, especially in broadcast use. XQD cards are now available with the use of an adapter on the S/S slot. 24 frames per second is now possible. This is a request made by many operators, many users for cinema use. For a complete list of all features available now with this new firmware updates, please visit the Sony community site. But what if, for any reason, you don't have any double recording? Or maybe you forgot to do double recording. What can you do? In some cases, even with XAVC, it's difficult to edit 4K footage. Very often, it's a big hurdle. It's really difficult to come over. You may consider using DaVinci Resolve 9 and DaVinci Resolve 10 for creating your HD proxy footage. Okay, this is it. Launched.
Step 1. How to create HD proxy files from 4K XAVC or RAW camera originals. So DaVinci Resolve 9 Lite is launched. Double-click. Let's create a new project. Let's name it Card 2 and we can see that the default frame rate is 24 frames per second and our files are at 59.94 frames per second. So let's check one clip inside card number 2. We see that this XAVC 4K camera original clip is at 59.94 frames per second. We can't change it on this page, so we need to modify the settings in Conform Options and switch the frame rate to 59.94 before importing any media into the media pool. In the Deliver page, the frame rate has been modified. Then we go to the media page and we import the first cards into the media pool. This must be done on a card per card basis. Frame rate is correct. We go back on the Deliver page and we choose to export to ProRes proxy or any other light files. Let's choose 720 for resolution. We click Render Audio. We choose individual source clips. Then click Browse and select a folder for rendering. And very important, choose Use Source File Name. Otherwise, you won't be able to relink to your 4K camera originals when conforming your edited sequence. Click Add Job and render the job. Step 2. Editing with HD proxy files you just created. After launching Premiere CC, let's check this short sequence about 2 minutes long, just for demo purpose. Let's check one clip, go to Properties. We see it is 720p at 59.94 frames per second. We see it is easy to navigate on the timeline, going from one edit to the other one with no freezing, no hiccup. Everything's fine. It's perfect. I used the JKL keys and see it works perfectly well and that it is really comfortable. No problem at all during the edit process. I like that so much. Then I select the timeline, go to File, Export, and have the option to choose either AAF or Final Cut Pro XML. Well, in fact, in most cases it will make no difference. Let's name it Premiere CC1 timeline, for example. Then click Save and done. Same thing now with Final Cut Pro 7. I have edited again another short program about 2 minutes long. Same thing as with Premiere CC. We see again it is easy to navigate on the timeline because I'm using light ProRes proxy LT files. I check this file as an example, go to Item Properties and see it is a 720p clip at 59.94 frames per second. This is fine. Click OK or Cancel. It really doesn't matter. Go to File, Export, and select an XML file. Export and select an XML5 file. I name it FCP7 timeline. Click OK and done. Now with Final Cut Pro X. Again, I select the clip and see it is a 720p clip at 59.94 frames per second. Again, it is easy to navigate, going to one edit to the previous one or the next one. Same with JKL keys. No freezing, no stopping, no hiccup. All is fine. I am just looking for the timeline hidden somewhere here. I just click this real icon. This is it, FCP chocolate. I then go to File, Export XML, and I name it FCPX chocolate. And this is done. Now let's try with Avid Media Composer 6.5. So again, let's select a clip into this bin, go to Get Info, and one more time we see it is a 720p clip at 59.94 frames per second. As with previous cases, it is so easy to navigate that you will not believe it, but it is true and real. So comfortable, not even a minor problem. Easy as well with JKL keys. Go to Previous Edit or go to Next Edit again. Of course, this is a 2.5 minutes timeline, so there is no DNX HD transcode required. I select the timeline, go to File, Export, name it Avid MC6.5 chocolate, choose AAF, save it, save again, and done. Step 3. Conforming 4K camera footage in Vinci Resolve 9. First, let's try Vinci Resolve 9 Lite. As you may know, this version is limited to HD export. Double click, let's create a new program. I name it 4K Confo. Double click the project to open it, then click on the deliver page, check the frame rate. As we can't change it on this page, we go to settings, conform option, and change it before importing any footage into the media pool. We know it is version light, so it's limited to HD exports only. Click apply, so we can't export in 2K or 4K within DaVinci Resolve 9 Lite. Now we import our 4 cards in this case, or all the cards needed for conforming, containing the original 4K XAVC or RAW camera originals. In this example, we see it is 4K XAVC at 4096 by 2160. Then we click on the conform page. I make a right click and choose Import AAF XML, then choose Premiere CC Timeline, uncheck this and that, check Use Sizing Information, then click OK, and we get the Premiere CC Timeline opened into DaVinci Resolve 9 with the 4K original footage. Again, I go to Import AAF XML and choose the FCP7 timeline, uncheck again this and that, and choose Sizing Information. Click OK, and we get the FCP7 timeline open into DaVinci Resolve 9 with the 4K original footage. Again, right-click to import another AAF XML file, FCPX chocolate. Uncheck this and that. Check Use Sizing Information. Click OK, and I got the FCPX timeline right into DaVinci Resolve 9 with links to original 4K footage, original camera files, and last with Avid. Again, I go to Import AAF XML and choose the Avid chocolate timeline. Uncheck again this and that, and check link to source camera files and use sizing information. And again, we get the Avid timeline open with DaVinci Resolve 9 with the link made to the 4K original footage. I click on the deliver page and see I can simply export in HD as I'm using the DaVinci Resolve 9 Lite version. And now let's launch DaVinci Resolve 10. Double click. Let's open the same project as with DaVinci 9, 4K Conf 1. This is it. Let's make a copy of it. Click Save. Done. Go to Settings, and now we change the resolution. We change, for example, to 2K Film, 3K, 4K Academy, 4K UHD, and means 4QHD. It is limited to 4K UHD as this is the light version again. Let's change the frame rate here. Click Apply, and we can choose the Avid timeline. Let's open it. And we can import the mixed audio file as it is a finishing tool. Don't get me wrong on this. I'm not saying it is the only option. I'm just saying it is a cost-effective and straightforward one among some others. And I just add the title this way and to choose to edit it and make a simple copy and paste very rapidly. Of course, it is easy to understand that the same thing can be done within DaVinci Resolve 10 Full and finish in full 4K 1496 by 2160 pixels. Then what else? We can choose any option. It can be 4K UHD. We can export to Apple ProRes 4x4. We can export to DPX. It could be JPEG 2000, EZDCP, and so on. Let's check render audio, then let's choose a folder for render. This is where you get your final 4K program. Right click and create a new folder and let's name it 4K Final. And so we get our whole program in 4K with titles and mixed audio included. We make, of course, a single clip. Go to Add Job, then start render, and you get your final sequence in 4K. Obvious, isn't it?
Thank you for watching, and of course, feel free to make any comments.